Hello again and welcome back. I've got one last try at Sands in the Master Pro A Tour, so I'm going to have a go at it. I've already done 17 under. I'm very doubtful I can even match that, but it's worth a try. I've got to beat 215 points, so I thought it'd be worth recording a round where I'm really focusing on getting better points. You can, on certain courses, you can pick up points by chipping on the green, well, at Sands I'm not really going to do that. The greens are usually too unpredictable to attempt to chip. So I'm going to be looking for nice approaches, picking up power shots wherever I can, both on the green and off the green. And I'll just give it a go. We'll see how it goes. So last time, if you watched the last video, I got a pin in the worst place possible. I'm hoping for a bit better this time. And that's a much better pin, so a much better chance of getting within the 5.4 yards and getting an extra 2 points for a nice approach. So if I can do that, that would be a nice start. Now when you make your adjustments for the elevation, it's always, on this green, it's always worth taking an extra 4 or 5 yards off. It just seems to fly that little bit further for whatever reason, based on the normal calculations you'd do. So what I'm wanting here is it's going to pitch just in the front of the green, slow down quite heavily, and that's just what I was wanting. So a nice simple tap in to start. Second hold really for me is the key. I can usually fairly consistently nail the others. Maybe the sixth I'm a little bit iffy on, but if I'm ever going to drop a stroke, it's always going to be on this next hole. You'll notice I'm playing a lot more slowly than I was in the last video. I think this one lasts a good couple of minutes longer. I spend a lot more time really making sure I hit the lines. It's my last go. You know, I've got to try and do everything I can, which is what I'm doing. So you'll see me taking a lot more time on certain shots. I can't remember exactly which ones I did, but I'm going for a draw here. Very similar, I think, to the last time. In fact, to be honest, most of this video will be not identical. It's different pins, different wins, but very similar. I think on the last one I took a 3-wood off the tee. This one, because I've got a bit of a headwind, I've taken a 2-wood and I've put a good 10-12 yards more on it. It'll fly a little bit flatter with it being a 2-wood, and that one's actually pitched on the green, but you saw it decelerate really quickly. It's left me a not too tricky putt at all for an eagle, and within the 5.4 yards again. So from the point of view of chasing points, that's a good start. So in the last video you would have seen I missed the green on this one, hoping to improve that. To be honest, from a points point of view though, that was quite successful because I went off the green and I would have got points for landing on the fairway. You don't actually get any points for landing on the green, bizarrely enough. And I then got a chip in with an extra perfect shot. So from points, despite the fact it wasn't such a good shot to approach the green, it helped me out as far as points went. So I'm hoping for a nice approach here. I think this is another one. You'll see a lot of these. I'm kind of humming and hawing as I'm lining up, preparing to take the shot. Really making sure I get it exactly where I want it before I hit that contact button. Apologies if I'm a bit quieter than normal. It's a bit late. I'm trying not to wake everybody in the house up. I think that's about right, yeah. So got there eventually, so I'm hitting the tree, and that was outside of the 5.4 yards. So from a points point of view, I'll end up with the same, which is an eagle, as in the last round, but unfortunately, sorry, from a score point of view, I'll end up with the same as the last round, but from a points point of view, I'm going to be a good 4, even 5 points worse off, so not quite what I wanted. There's still a chance to pick it up later in the round though. So basically, if I make a mistake, I'm just going to stop. There's no point. I've got 17 under with good points. If I for instance, miss a putt, that's really bad for points. It'll mean it's impossible to catch. I've got to catch 215 points. Last time I made 211. I know that going into the last hole last time I had 184 points. So I'm going to check it at that point before I decide. Well, presuming I get to that point, I'm going to kind of make a decision then as to what to do, if there are any other ways I can pick up points. But I need to be trying to accumulate points on every hole. So essentially, I'm really trying to get it within that 5.4 yards. But a lot of it is just crossing fingers, to be honest. It's a real job, not just catching it on the line, but well, the difference between kind of 0.5% when you're working with a driver power shot. I mean, that's going potentially 500 and a full shot, I think it's 525 yards. So if you imagine every percent there is over 5 yards, so a high 98% as I've hit it there could be say 515 yards. A low 98% could be 510 yards. That's the difference between going in the bunker and landing on the green, or overshooting the green and sticking on it, or a nice approach or not. So the more your stats increase, obviously everybody wants stats. You're never going to say no to them, but it does mean that you've got to be extra accurate with your calculations, and also when you've got kind of a 300-yard drive, if you hit it 98 or 99%, it makes very little difference. If you've got a 500-odd yard drive, the difference between 98 and 99% is 10 yards, which obviously can be the width of a green in some cases. So this is for Albatross, and I make it. So far perfect. From points, I'm probably slightly worse off than I was last round, so I really need to start picking up some points on the next 3 holes, which are the 3 par 4s, which again I said on the last video, I think these are usually key to the round. So if I can eagle these 3, I'll be in really good shape, but equally I want to be trying to eagle them with good points if I can. For that, I'd be looking for a full shot. However, you'll see that I haven't taken a full shot on any of these shots. I could potentially have hit that 3-wood 451 yards, and it might just have crept on the green, but I'd rather err on the side of caution, keep the round going, and try and pick up points, maybe with power shot putts or chips if at all possible. But again, chips on the green at sands are few and far between, because the greens just undulate too much for you to be confident of it going in. Somewhere like Kyoto or Interlaken, you can do that quite a lot. So that has gone within the 5.4 yards. So you'll see the nice approach +2. All of these, you see after every shot what points you're accumulated, so you can get an idea as to what's good and what's bad from a points point of view. It's a bit stupid really, but I guess there's got to be some sort of tiebreaker if people are tied. The fact that it's one that essentially people pay for because they'll buy the perfect zone drinks is it's a bit of a pay to win thing, I guess. But if you're careful with them and you buy the pouches early, then you tend to accumulate enough not to have to buy them. Right, so I've gone for the power shot there. You'll notice rather than the guide was hitting the right hand side of the hole, so rather than just to the left, I actually adjusted to the right a little bit more and hit that at full power, so it's going to take less brake. Did the job, so that was an extra 1 point. Who knows, that might be the difference at the end. Fingers crossed. Okay, so this is a bit of a nasty win for this one. I could potentially play a sky shot. I think I was thinking about it here. I started to line it up, and then I remembered I had a bit of a disaster last week in Master Pro B. Played this course a lot recently. I think with that tailwind, that actually would have gone on the green, but it does kick off to the left quite heavily if you hit the fairway to the right of the green, and it's quite hard to predict. Well, I haven't had enough practice to predict it, so I'm going to play kind of the sort of shot I'd normally play. So I'm playing a 5-wood. It's going to sail over at the left of the green, but then the contours of the fairway where it bounces should hopefully pull it back in. That's the plan anyway. I'll be going for a fairly full shot here. I think careful with that 2-yard tailwind. It could potentially, because a 5-wood power shot is obviously going to go very high. The longer it's in the air for, the more the wind's going to affect it. Therefore, I think, I've decided to hit it just literally a sliver under the 100%. So whether or not that was worth it or not, because I've basically given away 1 point for a power shot, and it's ended up short. So I should have hit that. If I'd hit that full blast, it probably would have crept on. Maybe not quite within nice approach, but I would have got a extra 1 point for the power shot. So a point missed there. But similar to the last round when I said I chipped in on the third, if I could chip in here with a perfect shot, then that kind of takes me up to parity with my last round and possibly a bit ahead, because I've had a couple more nice approaches and a couple of power puts as well. And there in it goes. So that is a big boost. So I think I'm still a little bit shy of the 215 required. But if I can pick up a couple more points in the next couple of holes, it is just within reach. Now with this one, I know a full low shot gets me to the back of the green. Now that's where the pin is. However, and this is a bit of an anomaly, well, it seems like a bit of an anomaly, but when you think about it, it's possibly not. A low shot into a headwind will actually travel further. Sounds a bit backwards, but I guess if you think about it, the low shot, if you were to blast a ball into a headwind, it's going to potentially stay in the air a little bit longer, and you're hitting it that hard that it's going to pitch a little bit further on. That's my thinking anyway. But it's worth hitting the practice fields and trying a low shot in like a tailwind and in a headwind. You're talking about minimal difference, but it's enough to maybe go off the back of the green if I'd hit that full. As it stands, I've got it just about where I wanted it, within nice approach range, but again, I didn't get the extra point for a full shot. The only thing I'm really interested in, well, obviously I'm interested in my score, but I'm also interested in, I can possibly get a power shot here as well, I think. I'm also interested in points, chiefly. Obviously points are no good unless you actually make the score anyway, so you've got to get the balance. So you can see, I'm basically lining this up. I'm going to take a bit more break because I'm going to hit it slightly softer than the guide's suggesting, which is basically a full short putter. So there's an extra 1 point there, and it's gone in. So still on target with 1 hole to play. Starting to get a bit exciting now. In fact, I was getting a bit excited downstairs, really hoping for, because there's one particular wind on the par 5 last where I can actually make the green for albatross. You would have seen that on the last video. I went for it and the wind was a bit too strong, couldn't make it. So we'll see what I get this time. But first I've got to make sure I get this birdie, which is usually a fairly regulation shot. I'm going to play a punch shot to the back of the green. And it should kind of pop up nicely onto the front of the green, and then the slope will take it into the back, and you can see there's a bit of a dish there. It gets higher right at the back of the green, so there's not much fear of it rolling off the back of the green. So we'll just, as long as I get over that first bit, it's going to roll towards the hole. That's not far away at all. So very happy with that, and another nice approach. So we'll see, like I say, last round I had 184 points going into the last hole, and we'll see what I've got this time. 187, so I'm 3 points better off. However, I was 4 points behind Tokyo Perfume going into the last, so it gives me a bit of a decision to make. I can basically, there's no point me putting in 17 under with 214 points. So we'll see what wind I get. Right. So that's kind of, you'll notice I've selected draw shot there. So basically what I'm doing is a bit of a hit and hope. I'm hoping that if I draw it, it's going to bounce off the path at such an angle that it'll finish up on the green. I'm basically going to hit it full blast, cross the fingers, and pray to the heavens. So let's see what happens here. I'm having a good think about it. It's not quite 100% hit and hope, because I have made this actually once before, just messing about, but never in what you call a competitive game, I guess. So let's see where this ends up. The line looks pretty good. It looks like it's headed for that path. Where's it going to bounce? That's looking pretty good. So I put for 18 under. I was very happy with 17 under. However, 6 feet downhill and a big break. Now, if I use a guide here, it'll make me tap it really, really softly, and it'll be very, very difficult to, unless I get the line right, bang on first time. So essentially what I'm going to do here is play without a guide. It's only 1.8 yards. In any other situation, you'd probably just tap it in and not worry about it. But when it's potentially winning the Master Pro A this week, I'm going to think about it for quite a while here, I think. But there you go. So I've played it without the guide, and in it goes. So 18 under. Delighted with that. It's given me a big chance of winning this week, which I didn't think I'd have. It's going to all come down to Rolling Hills. Rolling Hills I've put 12 under at with fairly decent points. I checked this guy Tokyo Perfume's record. His best score at Rolling Hills is 14 under actually, and I would imagine that wasn't from the 6th tee. You can see the ranking change. I've gone up to number 1. That's always good. So if you've also got to bear in mind his tour group will be different from mine. He won't see me in his group. It will make absolutely no difference to him what scores I'm putting in. So if he puts a 12 under in with less points than me and he's top of his group, that's fine for him. He'll probably not even play the round again. That's what I'm hoping. If he puts 13 under in, I think it'll get very, very tight, and I'm not sure I can pick up any points. But I have got 4 more tries at Rolling Hills, so it gives me a bit of breathing space. So I've got a chance this week. So I've kind of pulled the phoenix from the ashes, or whatever you might say. We'll have a look at the ranking as it stands now. So you can see I'm first in rounds 3 and 4 now. As I said earlier, you would have seen I had a bit of a poor start. Rounds 1 and 2 weren't great, but rounds 3 and 4 have been okay. Well, certainly 3 was fantastic. 4 is okay. If anybody knocks me off, now it doesn't look like there's a big difference in. It looks like there is a big difference in points. This guy's only on 3,000 points, but if he beats me in round 4, he's going to pick up 1,500. He's also going to take 330 off me, and that would put him just ahead. So I'll check in again. Finishes on Monday. We'll see where we are then. And if I do need to replay Rolling Hills, you might get another video out of me this week. We'll see how it goes. I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching.